Okay. I don't know what happened. I don't even know where this left off. So, I have honestly never had OBS close on me like that before. I don't know what happened there, but I believe now. Okay, why is it
I
not?
don't know what happened. I don't even know where this left off.
Okay, I don't know if it's still 20 seconds or not. I'm assuming that it probably is because it doesn't look like it fixed anything. Um, but to make a long story short, Charlie Kirk within 2 hours and 20 minutes was murdered. And from what I'm reading right here, he died almost instantly. 200 yards. That is a sniper's shot. Experienced. Has to be. Now, this is the point where I say, I don't care what side of anything. Hold on. This is Charlie Kirk. Well, was. As of yesterday, he is now dead. Or assassinated. He supported Donald Trump and had a lot of ideals that coincide a lot with me. And apparently people didn't like it. But anyway, um, I I will say this, I don't believe no matter if you're a left or a right wing when it comes to Democrat or Republican, I don't see a reason to kill anybody over a political difference in opinion. But this is what pissed me off the most. What we're about to watch right now is what pissed me off the most, unless YouTube decides to shut me down, which is
It's
always a
time for
possibility.
Lefties Losing It, and tonight's edition of Lefties will feature some of the ugliness, some of the utter depravity that has followed the murder of Charlie Kirk, a thoroughly decent, principled man brutally murdered today, and the soulless ghouls of the left were quick to celebrate.
And there are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Well, breaking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chuckle Kirk.
And sadly, the vile left has not been shy about showcasing their ugliness, their utter callous depravity. This is what leftism does to your mind and soul.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow. That's good. That's good that people are getting shot just off a political view.
Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed today. We're just getting people's opinions. How do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it. And that's how I feel at this point in time. But
You know, I appreciate your honesty. I truly do. So you said someone had to do it.
yes. Try not to get all pulled up into that, but he was a misogynist. He was a disgusting person with disgusting beliefs.
Enough of that trash. Let's look at how the media professionals covered this tragic event, this act of domestic terrorism. Here is MSNBC.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
Yeah, pretty sure we knew immediately it wasn't that. Charlie Kirk supporters don't go around shooting their guns in celebration like they're attending some wedding in Iraq. And of course, MSNBC had to engage in victim blaming by calling Charlie divisive.
Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use. Why?
Well, he's one of MAGA's most prominent voices online. He hosts a near daily podcast.
But that was just stupid. What I'm about to play you is straight out depraved, disgusting commentary. This is Matthew Dowd again on MSNBC, not long after Charlie was shot.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in. That
I want to pull something up for the single person that quite literally said, said something about Trump blaming it on Iraq or whatever.
And our Patriot Mobile stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Let's see if I can find it right quick. This is what Trump said after he found out.
Far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. Really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies.
Oh no, wait, this was the thing on the black guy that killed the Ukrainian.
Bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life.
He has a point. Let me see if I can find the one I'm talking about. I had it yesterday on one of these guys' thing. It was a very good one. I don't really want to use the news, so we'll use the White House.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Does that sound to anybody like a man that's blaming some country that's overseas for what happened? Donald Trump did not once mention the Taliban or Hamas or anything. Trump knows as good as anybody that it was not anyone overseas that decided to kill Charlie Kirk. It was someone from the left who disagreed with everything that Charlie believed in, paid to silence him. I will not remain silent on my opinion. And as I stated in a post that I made early this morning, most of everything that Charlie Kirk believed in, I believe in too. Does that mean you're going to silence me? Does that mean you're going to come and shoot me in my bedroom? Go ahead. I'll be waiting. I will not stand for the left to constantly harass the right. And I watched a short and it pissed me off because they were talking about how the right and the left are always trying to kill one another. But yet, it always seems like the left are killing the right. It enrages me to see so many people celebrate not a politician in my eyes, a father and a husband, and they are going to celebrate it. What is wrong with you? All right, I understand. I had things that I disagreed with Charlie on, but I would have never shot him. I hate Obama. I hate Biden. I would have never shot them. There are people now that are ruining other people's lives that I absolutely hate, but I would never shoot them. But as Trump said, Kirk's message at this point is so spread and so well known. It will not silence anybody. Nobody will go silent in fear. And I pray, I really do, I pray that they continue with his tour, even though he's not there. If nothing else, make the tour about his memorial. Charlie Kirk did not deserve death. Nobody deserves death. And as a Christian, I'm supposed to say not only pray for Charlie Kirk's family, but pray for the shooter that shot him and that he repents for what sins he has committed in his life. But as a human being, I would love to see that man hanging from the highest pole on the highest mountain by his neck, strangling to death, because it is no less than what he deserves. You do not take a father from his children. That is my point of view with this. I am not speaking on politics. I'm not speaking anything about politics right now. I'm looking at Kirk as a father and a husband. Those children are not going to be able to walk through their door anymore and see their father in their house. And if they do, it'll be memories, photos, not the real thing. You do not take a parent from their child, especially not at such a young age. I've told a lot of you a good few times that I lost my father 3 years ago. I had just turned 17 when it happened, so it affected me. But my little brother had it worse. And my little brother still sees our father everywhere he looks. Imagine what these children are gonna be like growing up known as the kids whose father got assassinated. These children are not gonna have their father to teach them how to drive, or to protect them from the bad boys that the daughter would have eventually most likely brought home. They're not going to have a father to do the things that fathers are supposed to do. My prayers go up to Charlie's family. Prayers and sadness. We not only lost a man who had the courage to speak out against all the wrong in the world, well, in America. We lost a man that was honest and he stood by what he believed in through everything. And I'm gonna let this play through. I have to do a few things. I'm gonna let this play, and I'll let you guys understand something before I start talking again.
That people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
That was so vile, so hateful, and frankly deranged and dangerous that even MSNBC had to take some action, and they've sacked Matthew Dowd, but it's MSNBC. He may be back before the end of the month. And the asinine commentary wasn't restricted to commentators on MSNBC. Governors joined in. Here is the rotund governor of crime-riddled Illinois, blaming President Trump, the man Charlie Kirk worked tirelessly to re-elect. Governor Pritzker blames Donald Trump for fomenting political violence.
Political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it.
Did that nincompoop really mention the Minnesota shooter, the trans-identified lunatic who shot children in a Catholic school and wanted to kill Donald Trump? Yeah, it's Trump who was almost killed by an assassin's bullet who is to blame for leftist violence, not these lefties losing it.
He insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
President Donald Trump has called the murder of Charlie Kirk a dark moment for America.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace.
And the president noted the spate of deadly political violence from the left. He called such acts, including the assassination of Charlie Kirk as acts of domestic terrorism.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
Let's bring in documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, this is a dark day for America. I don't think those celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination, and I've seen, sadly, a lot of that on social media, I don't think those people understand what they have unleashed. The anger, the sadness over this assassination is profound.
Yeah, I think you're right. And before I spit fire, and believe me that I will, let me take a step back and talk about Charlie for a moment, and just some personal anecdotes. I considered him a friend. Even though we were a generation apart, he was somebody that if I had a question or some advice, I'd call them and reach out to him. And he's so generous with his time. The first time I met him, God, it was well over 10 years ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago. He was a teenager. He was just starting Turning Point. I think we met at a PragerU conference in California. And somebody introduced the two of us. So this is a guy you should know. His name is Charlie Kirk. He's a comer. And Charlie had been fundraising for Turning Point USA, right? It was the beginning of this organization. And in our conversation, he was talking about the people he's raising money from while he was there. And for anyone who knows who raises money, who has investors, you keep those things close to your vest, right? That's the lifeblood, the money that keeps and creates the organization you're creating. And he mentioned one of these billionaires that he raised some money from. And I just mentioned, just casually, that's a great guy to get money from. I've been trying to reach him for years. Not even asking for a favor. And he immediately said, here's the guy's cell phone number. Give him a call. I'm sure he's happy to help. Okay, that was the kind of guy Charlie Kirk was, okay? A friend to all. Yeah. A hater of no one. He criticized people, but he did not have hatred in his heart, which makes this even more difficult. Look, I have all types of friends, right? I have friends on the far right. I have friends on the far left. I have friends everywhere in between. And I got to tell you, Rita, I am scared to call some of my friends on the center left, never mind the far left, to talk about this. I'm afraid what they're going to say. Going over the social media, going over Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and listening to what people are saying, even on the mainstream media. I heard you talk about MSNBC over and over again. I think it's important to note the callousness in which they're covering this. Saddens me and scares me. And if a friend of mine said to me, oh, I'm so happy Charlie Kirk is dead, I don't know if I could talk to that person again. I got to be honest with you, Rita. It's just this one divide, and it's it's so funny. It's the left blaming the victim, right? He deserved it, what he said. By the way, he wasn't an alt-right figure. He was a mainstream Republican, right? He believed in family values. He believed that if you're a woman, you're a woman. If you're a man, if you're a man. He didn't have hate in his heart. He was about openness. He had a free speech roadshow, right, where he went to engage people on the left, not to demonize them or attack them, to find out what they thought. And this, I got to say this, we talked about the violence of the left over and over again. I hate it, but we keep talking about it because it's a recurring theme in our political landscape. And this is another example of that truth, that the political violence we've seen mostly, not exclusively, but mostly comes from the left. And we see on the right, what that actually is the exception that proves the rule, right? And I want to go back for a second to Louis Mangione, because I gotta say, every time I think about Charlie's death, I think about Louis Mangione. That to me was really, and the pun is intended, the turning point to this. Because it was when he was murdered, this man who was a healthcare executive, he wasn't even a political figure, right? He didn't have, as far as I know, any political thoughts, certainly not publicly, right? He was a businessman who was murdered because he happened to be in an industry the left didn't like, okay? And the mainstream left, Vita, were talking about how wonderful it was and joked about the killing of this business executive. That to me was a significant change in our political culture. Our campuses are, look, as you know, I'm no stranger to violence from the political left. I've been attacked physically on a university campus not that long ago. Because why? Because I raised the American flag. Look, you said it. This is something, they've unleashed something dark and terrible, and I'm afraid of what's to come.
I'm with you 100%. If I hear anybody in my orbit express any sort of joy or try to justify this murder, they're cut. You can't have people like that in your life. That's just pure evil. Why would you want to have that in your circle? And like you said, Charlie was hardly a radical. He just expressed very much mainstream views. Things like there's only two genders, that people should get married and raise kids. So that's where you find your greatest happiness. He wasn't some firebrand with radical ideas, not that would justify violence, but we are seeing violence on university campuses, and research from the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression shows that 1 in 3 students say that political violence is acceptable. We've got 3 in 4 who are saying that shouting down someone is acceptable on campus, but 1 in 3, Army, who think violence is acceptable, to silence someone who you don't agree with. That is just chilling.
It is.
It's childish.
Yeah, that certainly tracks with my experience. It's also a feature of the left. Look, the truth is the left has no affinity for free speech, right? They haven't for a long time. They used to be champions of free speech. I remember the days, and Rita, I'm sure you do also, where the ACLU, right, a leftist organization, championed free speech to the point where, I don't know if many of you guys remember, but when I was a kid, the Nazis were marching in a town called Skokie outside Chicago, and it was the ACLU, the left, that defended their right to do that. Well, what has happened to the ACLU is indicative of the left in general and how they've changed their views on free speech. No other than the New York Times, right, did this really fascinating article a number of years ago about the transformation of the ACLU, and it says everything about the left and free speech. And that they had, and the New York Times admitted that they have completely changed their perspective. They have become an anti-free speech organization. They have become an organization that censors people's speech, which tracks exactly with what we see on the left, particularly on our campuses, where this has been this petri dish of radicalism that we've seen, right, and violence that we've seen.
Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Now I'm going to rewind something right quick, because
Bad things happen.
this one enraged me the most. Because if you pay attention, you can tell that they are in some way a part of the LGBTQ. And this is the perfect example, from the goth look that they're supposedly trying to go for to whatever. And I want to talk about this because it is something that I feel like needs to be talked about. A lot of you know, for a long time, I have been completely against the LGBTQ, and I don't support it. I never will. You cannot wake up one day and decide that you want to be a pineapple. It just is not something that you can do. And that is something that Charlie Kirk lived for and he talked about a lot. And unfortunately, these people seem to think that it's okay to just murder him because of that view. And it angers me because people are always trying to defend the LGBTQ. They're just trying to live their lives. Two transgender people that we know of. Well, according to what was said, it was actually 5. But I only know of 2, so I'm only going to reference the 2. But the one that happened the most recently at the Catholic Church, because of the fact that you don't agree with a religious belief, you're going to go in and you're going to murder children. That is the tolerant left. That is the LGBTQ. Now, I will be the first one to admit to you guys, I don't believe for one second. I know plenty of people that could identify with the LGBTQ, but chose not to because of all the crap that they go. I mean, well, I've mentioned this numerous times. I used to work with a guy who is gay. He was my boss. There was a guy that was gay that cut my hair. I had no problem with either one of them. They never tried to shove their stuff off on me. Nothing. These people that are with the LGBTQ are brainwashed. All right. While I admit, yes, all right, being gay, lesbian, transgender, whatever, in my book, it is a sin, and you need to repent for that, and you need to ask God for forgiveness, and you need to not do it anymore. That will always be my viewpoint on that. But I've also stood by the viewpoint if that's what you decide to do, and you're not going to listen to reason, then I'm not going to try and tell you anymore. Charlie Kirk did the exact opposite. He explained his reasoning, he used Bible verses, he used facts, and he shut people down before they really got started. And I think what angers me the most is because the fact that he had a different opinion than someone else, they shut him up. But what they don't realize is they haven't shut him up. All they've done is made what he's been saying for years very obvious, that the left is all about violence. Trump has been saying it for years. Other people have been saying it for years. The left is all about violence. Now, I will admit, as somebody who does support the Republican Party because of the fact that I love my life in a Republican nation rather than a Democrat nation that I had to live in for 4 years. It is honestly, how do I put this? Republicans have had their spits of violence over the years. We all know that. Everybody has. But the left has taken it too far. At this point, the left has taken it too far. And I'm starting to agree with a few Republicans. It is time to stop being tolerable. It is time to start. How do I put this? It is time it is time to start enforcing the law instead of just putting it there and leaving it alone. And it gets me the most how people have the audacity to defend this person. We don't know who shot him yet. Yeah, we do. A mentally crazed person that thinks a gun is the solution to their problems. It doesn't matter if they're transgender or whatever, they are mentally crazed to believe that a gun is the solution of whatever problem they had going on. Guys, I have 2 BB guns in my room. I've only shot those off in my backyard for fun. I've never used them for anything else. Matter of fact, I fired them like once. Me and my little brother went outside and we fired them a few times and then we came back inside and I haven't used them since. I don't have a reason for them. Alright, I could go to the store now if I had the money and buy a sniper rifle. I could go shoot somebody right now if I did that. And it honestly blows my mind because now not only do we have today 9/11, where I should be really, and I will talk about that here in a moment. But we also have Charlie Kirk getting assassinated the day before 9/11, which is crazy. I'd almost be willing to bet that it would be known as a day that will live in infamy, but that would be going a little far. But it has awoken a lot of conservatives, and I believe that something bad is coming for the left. I won't be a part of it because I don't think guns are the way to solve things, and I don't believe that Charlie Kirk believed in that either. And how would we be living up to his name by killing people when he quite literally said, if we don't talk about our problems and don't disagree with one another, it just leads to violence, and violence is not needed. Now, I'm paraphrasing what he said. There's actually a legit quote out there of what he said, but I agree. That's why I'm on here. That's why I discuss my opinions instead of lashing out and instead of lashing out and killing people and things like that. It wouldn't benefit me in any way. Now, I would honestly hate to see another civil war happen. People said another civil war was going to happen when the Black Lives Matter stuff hit. Nothing happened. And I'm assuming people are going to talk about it the same way with Charlie Kirk being killed. There's going to be a civil war. Nothing's going to happen. Nobody's going to do it. I know I won't. I will not pick up arms against my fellow Americans, whether you're gay, lesbian, furry, whatever you decide to be. You are an American in my eyes. I do not want to pull a trigger on a fellow American unless they threaten me or my home or my family. That is the only time that I will ever pick up a weapon and kill somebody is if they threaten me or my family, my home. Until then, I would refuse to fight a fellow American. I can disagree with you all day. We can have conversations and we can disagree on streams and things like that, as I do a lot of times. You guys know this by now. I've disagreed with plenty of people numerous times. And I've disagreed with numerous of them. Now, give me just a moment, because I wanna kind of go through something right quick. And I think it'll be really entertaining for us, since we're talking about the Civil War and all. I've always been intrigued by these naval vessels. So, nope, wrong one. Be downloads. There we go. So we're gonna look at these now. They're gonna be blurred, obviously. And I don't believe that America will ever stoop so low as to rejoin that thing that they dare call Britain, which is nothing like Britain anymore. But I do not believe that violence is the way. If my dog comes to my door one more time, I swear y'all will hear a big slap. Get back under that bed. You done came to the door twice, I opened it, and you ain't gonna do nothing. So go under the bed. Thank you. But I, honest to God, hope that it doesn't come to that, because I don't want to have to kill anybody. And I hope that you guys understand that. I really do. But anyway, we're going to look at these, and then I'm probably going to end this stream, and I'm probably either going to hop on War Thunder or Minecraft. And I'm going to play and just try and work some of the just outright anger that I have right now out, because that's exactly what I have right now for the left. Alright, I don't have a very good picture of this. The USS Essex. Let me see if I can just kind of zoom out on it a little, and then maybe, no. Okay. Oh, I tried. Okay. Let's see if I can fix it. Let's see. Oh, magnification. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing with the thing, aren't I? Yeah, that'll work, I guess. Essex. I can't read these words, and I hate that, but I guess you guys can kind of look at them. The Union had some very, very strange ironclads. Most of these, though, this one and this one especially, look like converted warships. Like, this honestly looks like something that would have been a sailing vessel. Same with this one. The rest of these look actually purpose-built, which is nice. Now, mine Oh wow, this one came out a lot better. Hold on, let me see if I can go find one that comes out a little bit better. All right, let's see. Can I delete this? Apparently not. All right, here we go. Delete. There we go. Let me go see if I can find a better one. I think that one might actually be slightly better. Let's see. Yeah, this one's better. Okay, cool. We'll work with that then. I don't know what they did with that, but they screwed it up completely. So, all right, cool. Now we can read these. All right. USS Essex, December 1861, St. Louis, Missouri. The Cairo, I believe. It's USS, and as you can see, if you look close enough, it is a little paddle steamer. Look at that. They used paddles. Oh. Mound City, Illinois. Actually, guys, guessing on what time it is, it's currently 11:06. I might go to town and then do another live stream. USS Monitor, February 1862. New York, New York. New York, New York. USS Benton, another paddle steamer, as you can see. See, I want a lot of these in Stormworks. Posick or Pasic or Posiac, maybe. Eastport. New Ironsides. Look at that. That's definitely Pennsylvania made. Yeah, you see what I mean about both of these looking like old warships? USS Galne. I don't even know. USS Chilocha. I don't even know. What is with the pyramid design going here? Indiana. I can't even pronounce half of these names. Like, what was America thinking? Lafayette. Yay! I like that. That was cool. The USS Atlanta. They took after the Virginia on that one. I like the fact that the Union did use paddle. Like, I think that's really cool. Would have probably been cheaper at the time too. I think this one's probably my favorite though, because it's got 3 turrets. The Roanoke, New York, New York. The small one looks like it's got crew quarters and a rear cannon. New York, New York. Dual cannon. Dual cannon here. Okay, so hold on. All right. Big one, small one, big one, small one, big one, small one, big one, small. Big one. Big one. Small one. The Tennessee. I don't even want to know what they called that. Dictator. Uh-huh, 1 cannon. Definitely coastal defense. And whatever that is. Oh yeah, this one I like to call the floating potato because that's what it looked like when it was actually floating. The Massasas or whatever, Louisiana. Ah yes, the CSS Virginia. Now the funny thing is about the Virginia, and I love this story because I think it's always been interesting to me. The CSS Virginia was actually it was kind of a blow to the Union Because what the CSS Virginia was, it was the hull of the Merrimack, which was in like a sailing ironclad that the Union had, and they raised it up, drained it out, and they cut it off at the bottom like they did, obviously. And they used the hull of the Merrimack and they built this crap on top and called it their own vessel. And it was like a blow to the Union, in my opinion. Ah, yes, the CSS Mississippi, New Orleans, Louisiana. The Baltic, very small. Richmond, oh my god, what are you doing? Mount more guns on this thing! Georgia, Louisiana, dear lord. No turn radius. Arkansas, Palmetto State, Charleston, South Carolina. I didn't know we made one. My new favorite. I'm kidding. It's not really my new favorite, but oh, another Missouri. Wait, hold on. They're the same, except this one doesn't have the butt gun right here. What the world? CSS Charleston, Atlanta. Wait a second. Hold on. Let me go look at that again. Oh, that's interesting. The Atlanta is the one that I have in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, always trying to best somebody. Uh, Tuscaloosa, Tennessee, with the massive bow over here. One of these was actually captured, I believe. Ralph, Fredericksburg, Virginia 2. Oh, I see what they did there. The Virginia 2, yeah, that looks nothing like the original. Nashville, Columbia, Stonewall. Wait, what? France? 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 Dadgummit, the French helped again. Well, hey, at least we can ram somebody. Texas with their little rinky-dink little thing. But yeah, I honestly like looking at the two. There was no way, like the Confederacy would have won against America, simply because the fact America had diversity with their stuff, whereas the Confederacy did not. And they just used like these designs just continuously. There was no way. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna go and I might go depending on. Well, hold on. Before I go and tell you guys that, let me check. Oh my god. Anyway, before I do anything else, what is half of these? I'm just gonna leave that up there. Just kind of yoink. There we go. Okay, cool. I have enough money. We're good. All right, so I will see you guys in the next live stream. I'm probably gonna run to town right quick, maybe, possibly. I have to make sure my brother's okay first and all. Um, no, 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 no. Back. I forgot I had that. Whoops. Um, but I have a lot of weird things I don't even want to know. Oh yeah, I forgot I had that one too. And that one, and I don't know. I'm weird. Anyway, I forgot I have half the stuff that I have in there. But anyway, I hope everybody has a lovely day. Also, let me ask you guys a question. Which one do y'all like better? Do y'all like the what in the world? Huh? No, I want my freaking. There we go. Okay, so do y'all like the Zootopia one, or do you like the old classic wolf thing here? Because the Zootopia thing, I'm trying to leave on until Zootopia 2 comes out, but I want to see if you guys want me to keep it afterwards or not. But, But anyway, I hope everybody has a lovely day. And remember, you mess